Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a journey to Aoki Village. It's this incredibly quiet, beautiful place in Nagano Prefecture, totally surrounded by mountains. And we're going to uncover the story of a seasonal treasure that absolutely refuses to be tamed by humans. We're talking about the highly prized, super elusive Matsutake mushroom. And as you're going to see, its existence tells a much, much bigger story about our relationship with nature. Matsutake does not move by the human calendar. The mountain has its own time. I want to start right off the bat with this quote because it perfectly captures the unpredictable essence of what we're talking about today. We're so used to planting seeds and harvesting our crops on this highly predictable, rigid schedule. But the Matsutake, it completely ignores us. It appears silently, almost magically, driven entirely by the invisible rhythms of the mountain. The mystery of Matsutake, beyond a luxury ingredient. A complex forest ecosystem, the hidden underground world. Now, to really grasp why this mushroom is so mysterious, we have to look underground. Think about the standard mushrooms you grab at the grocery store. They grow by decomposing dead wood or compost, right? They basically feed on decay. But the Matsutake is totally different. It requires a living, breathing, symbiotic relationship with the roots of specific trees, primarily the red pine. So the little mushroom we see popping up above ground, that's really just a tiny fraction of this vast, living, underground network. Here's where it gets wild. You could have a gorgeous forest absolutely packed with red pines, and nothing. You still won't get Matsutake unless you have this exact, uncontrollable alignment of environmental factors. The soil has to be just right. The temperature has to drop at the perfect moment. The rainfall needs to align perfectly with the changing season. If literally any one of these variables is off by just a little bit, no way. The Matsutake just stays hidden underground. Reading the mountain's secrets, the forager's knowledge. Because these conditions are so ridiculously complex, finding them isn't about aimlessly wandering around and hoping to get lucky. It requires this deep, almost instinctual skill that the locals call reading the mountain. A master forager actually goes through a mental checklist. First, they check the terrain, like which slope are we even on? Then they look at the trees. Next, they check the soil moisture and factor in the subtle day-to-day shifts of the season. And finally, and this is the real secret sauce, they layer all that physical data with years of their own hidden, personal memories of past harvests. This is exactly why foragers are notoriously tight-lipped about their spots. If you ask a forager where they found their haul, good luck getting a straight answer. To an untrained hiker, it's just a bunch of pine trees. But to a skilled forager, it's a dynamic, living map of past autumns. They don't just see a tree, they remember a specific rainstorm 3 years ago that caused a massive harvest right in that exact patch of dirt. The unpredictable autumn harvest, when nature refuses the calendar. Remember how we said the Matsutake ignores our schedules? Well, you wouldn't believe the sheer chaos of the harvest dates they've recorded at the local roadside station, Michino Eki Aoki. In 2020, the peak hit in mid-October. The very next year, 2021, it wildly shifted to early September. 2023 was a famously terrible late year. 2024 bounced right back to early September. And in 2025, it didn't even start until October 2nd, and there wasn't even a clear peak. It's completely, utterly untamed. So instead of checking a calendar or their phones to see if it's autumn yet, the people of Aoki Village rely entirely on what they call the mountain's time. They watch the sky, they step outside and feel the morning chill on their skin. They just have to wait for nature to give the signal, fully accepting that they're at the mercy of rhythms way older and larger than themselves. The scent of the season, from mountain to village. Once these elusive little guys are finally pulled from the dirt, they go on quite a journey. They're brought down from the red pine forests to that bustling roadside station we mentioned, Michino Eki Aoki. And there, they totally transform. The mushroom becomes this kind of local ambassador. It draws passionate visitors from far outside the village who come to buy the harvest, soak in the hot springs, eat the local food, and just take in the scenery. It literally connects this isolated mountain village to the wider world. Eating the scent of the season. I mean, how poetic is that? That's really why people travel so far for this. In our modern world, where practically every food is artificially grown, shipped across the globe, and sitting on a shelf year-round, experiencing the intense, fresh, piney aroma of a newly harvested Matsutake is this powerful celebration of the now. You literally cannot put this experience in a box for later. It demands that you be present. Changing forests, unique autumns. documenting the shift. But let's zoom out for a second, because the story of the Matsutake is also acting like a giant warning bell for our ecosystems. Historically, humans actively managed these forests. They gathered firewood, swept up dead leaves, and that daily routine actually kept the red pine environments perfectly healthy for Matsutake. But today, that relationship has really faded, and when you combine that lack of human management with severe climate shifts, like those extreme summer heat waves and incredibly erratic rainfall we've been seeing, the delicate underground environment the Matsutake relies on is rapidly changing. And that's exactly why noting the arrival of the very first mushroom, or tracking the rainfall, or recording those chaotic peak dates at the roadside station is so incredibly vital. They aren't just selling mushrooms, they're gathering data. Every single harvest record is a crucial clue for tracking the health of Aoki Village's natural world and for understanding how our broader climate is shifting in real time. As you walk away with this new understanding of nature's delicate, uncontrollable tapestry, I want to leave you with a thought. If the Matsutake teaches us one thing for sure, it's that the exact same autumn never comes twice. It's a beautiful, completely ephemeral rhythm. So, knowing that this exact season is fleeting, what do you think the mountain will tell us next year? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope it inspires you to look at the untamed nature right outside your own door with a slightly closer, more appreciative eye.